Today, I'm going to be taking you on a British Rail trip to Asia as I ride on Thailand's Class 158 Special Express on the route from Bangkok to Pattaya, a train based on a British classic. I'll show you just what it's like to travel on the Sprinter train, from the luxurious interior to the basic level of safety standards on the rails, as we run from the bustling city streets of the capital into the rural tropical landscape. This is going to be an exotic adventure, so join me as we travel on this British train abroad. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm outside of Bangkok's main station, Lamphong, and I'm going to be travelling the entire length of the Eastern Line. Now the train today is something quite special, as it's actually going to be one of Thailand's British Rail built Sprinter units. So I'm looking forward to this British train abroad. Let's go! Good morning from Lamphong, formerly the main railway hub for the bustling capital city of Bangkok. This marvellous terminal station opened its doors in June 1916, with a grand facade and train shed said to be inspired by European classics, such as those in Frankfurt or Turin. The main entrance to the station is now sadly closed, having been converted to be part of a museum, with a dedicated taxi drop-off and walking route leading to the western entrance. Now we'll get to our British Rail train soon, but first let's take a look around this incredible station building. Lamphong's main waiting hall is full of cafes and businesses. It's certainly a great environment for enjoying a drink before the journey. And if you've ever wanted to get a massage before your train journey, this is the station to try. But don't forget to look out for the large amount of art and culture on display here in the station. As well as its cafes, the main hall also contains a ticket office, mostly selling tickets for the local commuter trains departing from the station. Tickets for long-distance journeys are best booked long beforehand, as they're prone to selling out. Bangkok Lamphong station has already seen a decline in importance, with most premier express trains already relocated to Bangkok's massive new station. This behemoth of a concrete slab at the edge of the city opened in 2023 and was originally slated to completely replace Lamphong station. But this characterless station's opening was subject to public outcry, with Lamphong's future as a station remaining uncertain. A lot of space previously used for long-distance express trains in Lamphong has now been converted to an exhibition of historic locomotives, something well worth a few minutes of your time before boarding your train. Despite all this doom and gloom, the station is very busy today, with weekends transforming the station from a commuter terminus into a tourist hotspot. The State Railway of Thailand has been capitalising on the high tourist demand for railways in recent years, with a number of excursion trains departing from Lamphong on single or multi-day tours. You can sometimes even spot the beautiful Japanese Kiha 183 series. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a video on these. Of course, the station still sees a number of regular trains too, such as this diesel unit running south to a popular resort on Thailand's Gulf Coast. There are also plenty of classic loco-hauled trains too. Eventually though, my Sprinter unit comes in from the depot. These units were delivered to the State Railway of Thailand back in 1991, marking a large upgrade to speed and comfort for long-distance services in the country. They were based on the popular and successful Class 158 units, part of the Sprinter family that sees use all over the United Kingdom. There are quite a few differences though, namely that the Thai variant is built to operate on much narrower meter gauge tracks. And we'll explore some of the other crazy modifications made a bit later on, but for now, it's time to board. I'm travelling on Special Express number 997, the 0645 service to Chuk, Samet. This weekends-only service is the only train in Thailand still using these exotic sprinter units, so it's quite a privilege to be here riding them. My seat is car 3, seat 56, situated at the window. Today's route sees us heading east out of Bangkok, as far as Chachingsao Junction, where we'll make a sharp turn south, run through Pattaya and eventually into Chuk, Samet. Journey time is scheduled to be 3 hours 5 minutes, covering 195 kilometres. We depart Bangkok Hua Lamphong at 0650, with a small delay of 5 minutes. It is a British train after all. As we depart, the engines power up. It's a sound that certainly reminds me of home. Our route out of Bangkok is interesting, as we run alongside the trackside settlements, in a total contrast to the many skyscrapers surrounding the area. And already we're calling at our first station, in Makasan. This district of the city is home to Thailand's largest railway depot, maintaining hundreds of dated locomotives and carriages to a high standard. And despite still being in the city, this main line is single track, meaning we have to wait for an oncoming commuter train before we proceed. Blink and you'll miss it, but you can actually catch a glimpse of an abandoned Class 158 vehicle in the depot, still in the original livery. This is the colour scheme these units were delivered in when new, and simply matched the colour of British Rail's Regional Railways brand of the time. So let's take a look at the interior, as it's quite a bit different from this train's British counterparts. Starting with the seats. These are in a 2+2 layout, with all seats facing forward, possible thanks to the swivelling base. Now, I mentioned earlier that these trains have a luxurious interior, and compared to typical Thai trains, that's certainly true. These individual seats offer plenty of padding, making them a really comfortable choice. Legroom is, surprisingly, excellent, with plenty of space to stretch out during the journey. Between seats is an armrest, though this was a little floppy. The seat in front features a small net for storing items, while above this is a folding seatback table. Don't expect anything too durable though. Down by the side is a lever for the massive recline function. I mean, this is basically halfway to lying down. And lastly, all windows have a pair of curtains, offering a brief respite from the blaring tropical sun. With coat hooks of varying quality also found by the windows. Towering above us is the Bangkok Airport Rail Link, an electrified standard gauge railway connecting the city centre with Suvarnabhumi Airport. And believe it or not, this is home to another British train. Here's a quick glimpse of a 3-car Class 360 unit used on the line. One interesting difference on the Thai Class 158s is the doors. Instead of having automatic locking doors, these trains have manual slam doors. This allows for some fantastic views of the passing scenery. However, the train's guard didn't much like the idea of me standing on the doorstep. After Lat Krabang, we diverge from the airport rail link and finally begin to head out into the countryside. So let's go and have a look around the rest of the train. As you may have guessed, it's easy to gain access to the rear cab, which allows for some fantastic shots. And if there are any 158 drivers watching, let me know how familiar this cab looks in the comments. These trains have 3 carriages, and getting between them is a bit of a challenge to the inexperienced traveller. That's right, there are no gangways. You just step outside into the elements before closing the door behind you. Outside, we're approaching one of Thailand's most important railway junctions, and this also happens to be our next stop. Chachoeung Sao Junction is where the 2 main branches of the Eastern Line diverge, with one heading north as the Aranya Pratet Main Line, services running to the border with Cambodia. Meanwhile, we'll head south as the Chuk Samet Main Line, running through Pattaya and along the Bay of Bangkok. Chachoeung Sao is also home to another significant part of Thailand's railway network, Bang Pakong River Bridge. This was the first elevated railway through a city in Thailand. No small feat, given that Bangkok's public transport network is characterised by such constructions. We're now just under 2 hours from Bangkok, and I've got to say, this tropical landscape is certainly a contrast from the hustle of the city. Speaking of getting away from it all, we're arriving into Chonburi City. This is the closest beach settlement to Bangkok, making it a popular destination for city dwellers during days off. Be sure to look out for the Chonburi Grand Canyon to the left. Formerly a mine, its abandoned remains now serve as a local tourist attraction. It's certainly a hot day here in eastern Thailand, so it's good to know that these Class 158 units have beefed up aircon to cope with the realities of the climate here. Safe to say West Yorkshire doesn't get many days like this. These trains were originally used on some of Thailand's longest routes, with daytime journeys upwards of 12 hours a common occurrence. Back in the day, meals would be served from the small catering area here, though this seems to have ended up as a dump for luggage. There are also overhead luggage racks though, which were very small. Thankfully, a few luggage stacks can be found around the train. This station is Pattaya, arguably the main reason this train runs. Despite only recently being a sleepy fishing village, Pattaya grew rapidly from the 1960s. It's now Thailand's 10th largest city and a huge international tourism hub. A few toilets can be found around the train. These were in a reasonably okay condition, however no soap was provided and the water wasn't working either. This also means the handheld bidet wasn't working, but to my surprise there was in fact toilet paper. Here in Bam Plu Ta Luang we see some abandoned old rail cars. These are, or were, Kiha 58 vehicles from the 1960s, which were donated second-hand from JR West of Japan in 1996. Tragically, these lasted only a few short years, before the majority of the fleet was just dumped here. So now on to how much this trip cost. Ticket prices are fixed, so they cost the same no matter when you book. My one-way ticket set me back 170 Thai baht, an absolute bargain for such a trip on a high-quality and comfortable train. We eventually pull into Chuk Samet at 10:30 on the dot, a delay of 40 minutes for no apparent reason. Overall, this was a really great trip with the State Railway of Thailand on the Class 158. These trains are well known in the UK for their quality, and I'm glad to see them living up to that expectation in Thailand, with a comfortable and smooth ride at a great price, even if we were pretty late. But this isn't the only iconic British train that has seen work abroad, as I recently travelled on a Freightliner Class 66 on an incredible trip through the countryside of Poland and right down the middle of a busy road. And you can find out why by clicking up here now.